think everything's working now. Hello and welcome. This is my debut stream. For the next 20 minutes, I hope to entertain you and teach you about who I am. So, I wouldn't say I'm new to streaming, since I've been doing this on PS4 for the past few years. It is my first time trying to push using some kind of avatar as a visual concept for me. As much as I would like to do a live feed, I'm just really shy. Very shy. So, without further ado, let's take a look at some stuff about me. Can you see it? Is it visible? Is the text too small? So those who've known me and known my gaming names for over the past few years know that I go by the tag Blue Castle. The name came about when I made an alt character and just wanted to create a very lore-based and simple name for a character I had made. Funny enough, it stuck. I am a Leo baby, born in the month of August. You could almost say I pride myself on being a Leo. My avatar and such are based on a lion because of that. I've always been a very protective, loud, and showboaty person when I am loud, even though I'm very shy. But when I shine bright. And I've been compared to both being a lion of sorts, or being like a manifestation of the sun, which I think is kind of funny considering Leos are guardians of the sun. But yeah. I'm in my 30s. I'm about 5'11", give or take an inch, maybe. Let's see. To talk about my hobbies, the most obvious one is gaming. I have been playing games since I can remember. When I'm enjoying myself, when I'm deep in a game, and sometimes when I'm exhausted, I might do goofy voices. I find a lot of entertainment in it for myself, and I hope that the people around me aren't suffering too bad when I do it. But it amuses me, and I enjoy doing it. Some of the other fun things I like doing is I love fixing video game stuff. If you've ever seen my old Twitter or my old Facebook, most of my posts, it's me tearing apart game stuff. From controllers to consoles, some handhelds. It's just, I find it a lot of fun just to get in there, take it apart, find out what's wrong with it, diagnose the issue, fix it, and when everything's sealed up and working again, there's this burst of awesome feeling of accomplishment. Another thing that I've gotten into recently, probably the last year or so, is I've gotten into modding. One of the hugest drawbacks to the Game Boy Advance is the fact that it had a beautiful screen but no light. You would have to either buy one of those swivel lights or the clamshell lights. And now, as an adult, I've found that people have made mods that literally put cell phone screens into them so that you can get the quality that it should have had in the beginning. So of course I learned some techniques, and I've modded a few Game Boy Advances with that screen in it. I even gifted one away to someone really special to me. There's some other moddings I've been getting into, like a capacitor mod for the Game Gear that guarantees that it doesn't die out after a short period of time. I got one of my Game Gears working. Sadly, not the other. Moving on, I do drawings. I've done sketch work and doodles since I can remember. As for actual art, I have done a few pieces. I love doing art, but I'm not inspired often. So when I do it, it's kind of like a comet. You see it once, then it might be a couple of years before you see it again. Another thing I enjoy doing is, as I progress through games, I like to write down information and compile it for future use for myself and possibly for other places. I used to post guides on websites to help people. Another such thing right in line with that is I used to make maps. I would go through a game, and some areas in video games can be very confusing, so I would draw down maps, scope out the area, write down information, and then post it for people to use. And that's it for hobbies. I'm sure I have plenty more I could talk about, but we'll leave that for another time. Moving on to my likes. I like salty foods. You give this lion a pretzel, I am a happy, happy boy. I think a chocolate snack that I absolutely love would be Reese's Peanut Butter Cups because of the saltiness of the peanut butter. As much as sweet things are nice, for some reason I am drawn to stuff like that. Ooh, jerky. Love some jerky. And that's it about snacks. For foods, pretty basic. I'm a big fan of pizza. I love pasta here and there. And recently I've actually gotten into cooking, and I made my own pizza. Moving on to my other likes. I'm hardcore into platforming games. A lot of the things you'll see on the list later are platforming games. While I do dip into other categories, that's kind of my mainstay for gaming. Now, music, I'm kind of open to all music, but the stuff that really clicks with me, the stuff that really gets my creative juices running and just makes me happy, is anything similar to EMD. electronic dance music. A lot of video game music tickles me. A couple of pop and rock songs work, but I'm mainly listening just to the background music and not the voices. Now, for some other stuff that I'm into, don't tell my bank account this, but I love the Pokemon TCG. And, well, if I'm not careful, I will spend too much. My last foray into TCG was with the Sword and Shield Evolving Skies set, and I bought way too much of that. Way too much. But I loved it. Every second of it. Another thing I'm into is puzzles. I love a good challenge, something to solve, something to figure out. If something isn't working, I like to make it work, to fix it and see if it can work again. So puzzles are a huge hit with me. Be it a standard tile puzzle or something more intricate. I love them. Love them a lot. And as for the last thing, when it comes to weather, when it comes to temperature, I am a bitter cold loving person. I love the winter. I love snow. Going outside, seeing it fall, so good. So very, very, very good. Moving on to dislikes. It's really funny. My dislikes with food have to do with texture. And a lot of the foods I don't like are mostly fruits. To give an example, I love grapes. They taste good, but biting into them is just so weird. The texture just doesn't sit well with me. So for me to sit down and eat a bag of grapes, I have to really be up for the flavor over the feel. Some fruits that I absolutely don't like are plums. Why is it now that I can't remember? Plums, mangoes, essentially anything with a thin skin that you either peel off or bite through, excluding apples. I have a very, very weird relationship with bananas. This has to do with the fact that alone, the banana has a great taste. It's nice, but for some reason, if I chew it with my teeth, I can feel an almost grainy taste, and that just offsets everything. So what I end up doing is mashing it in my mouth with my tongue, which I know sounds even weirder, right? Good thing I don't eat them often. But yes, fruits are a weird basket for me. As for gaming, I can get into a couple of different genres, but one that I actually don't like are FPS war games. And this has to do more with my moral coil over anything else. There's something about playing a game that's realistic and shooting someone that doesn't sit well with me. Do I think that makes them bad games? No. No, 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 not at all. I don't like playing them. It feels wrong to shoot another person. If they look that real, I'm not into it. Sorry. Um, Moving on to the other thing that bugs me about music is this one's a really, really big paradox with me. Seeing as I like video game music, which tends to be repetitive, I actually can't stand music with repetitive lyrics. Like, if there's a song out there, be it rock or pop, where every like 10 seconds or 30 seconds they repeat the same lyrics again, it kind of sucks to me. It kind of loses its interest and its pull for me. Not that I don't enjoy some of them, it's just those ones kind of don't like it. And for the final dislike, yeah, I'm sure you got this from the like section, but I don't like hot weather at all. Specifically, hot and humid. The the more water that's in the air, the less I'm going to enjoy. Humid weather is just abysmal. I love me some just nice cold weather. Sun shining, a nice breeze. Ah, so nice. But humid weather really, 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 it demotivates me. It stresses me out, and it just puts a timer on how soon can I get away from this weather. And with that timer, I stop enjoying anything that I'm doing. And I'm sure I could have a better mindset about it, but there's only so much humid weather I could take before I'm just ready to scream. Not to be confused with actual hot weather. I do on occasion enjoy blistering heat. I think some of my fondest memories of living in the South is being on the beach on one of those days where the sun just makes your skin prickle. But yes, humid weather, bad. Moving on to some animes I've watched. I'm probably going to date myself by saying this, but I absolutely love FLCL for its art style and its very bizarre and silly story. I fell in love with the Cowboy Bebop series while it was airing on Toonami. Probably one of the most common episodes that was on that I would always see is the episode where everyone eats a bunch of mushrooms, which I can never remember what the ending of that was, if they were actually eating mushrooms or if they were being poisoned. But loved that anime. It had something going with it that just made it interesting. Another anime from my younger years was Outlaw Star. Most of it can't remember, but that ending. Ooh, that ending. It felt it felt complete, like a nice ending. Another show that I watched back in my youth was The Slayers, or Slayers for short. Main character annoyed the ever living shit out of me. It was the side characters that had me coming back for more. I wanted to learn more about each of them. Recently, probably two animes that have hit home with me that I absolutely love are Odd Taxi and You Lie in April. You Lie in April stuck with me because I don't handle death well, and when an anime can get me with that, even if I see it coming, they get marks for that. You Lie in April, I knew right at the start that something was going to happen, something sussy. And I kept going. And I think it was the development of the main character that kept me in there. I was wondering how he was going to handle it. And by the final season, yeah, I lost it. Love that one. Most recently, I finished Odd Taxi. That anime is special. I never thought for a minute about any of the premises meaning anything. And, well, I'm not going to spoil it. Go watch that. Go. Seriously, though, Odd Taxi's a good watch. Moving on to video games. This one's, well, for those who know me, yes, there's a reason Mega Man's in bold. I grew up with video games from a very young age, and one game that stuck with me was the Mega Man series. I have enjoyed every game that has come out, no matter how not good they are. Some of the more questionable entries, like Mega Man Soccer, I used to play addictively day in and day out as a kid. I dabble in some other games, though I actually do play these more than I play Mega Man nowadays. I still play Mega Man, don't get me wrong. He's my homeboy. I am a huge Castlevania fan. I've played most, if not all of them. Some of my favorites have to be Castlevania 3 for the NES. Great game. Great game. Hard as balls, though. You're gonna hate yourself going through that. But the payoff is worth it. Castlevania 3, Super Castlevania 4, great game. Starts out easy. Final levels will throw you through the ringer. You will not feel good towards the end. But when you get past those last few bosses, that final part is real good. A mainstay in my collection is the Final Fantasy series. I have been playing the Final Fantasy games for years now, and I straight up love them. My earliest Final Fantasy was Final Fantasy 1 for the NES, but I more or less watched family members play that one. I didn't start playing Final Fantasy until the SNES release of 2. And even that one, I didn't play that much. And I got carried through a bit of it by my brother. It was Final Fantasy 3 for the SNES that I absolutely destroyed. I frickin' loved that one. After that, it was, as they came out, I would play them. My favorites would have to be, well, obviously Final Fantasy 3 for SNES. Final Fantasy 11, played that way too much. Love it, love it, love it. I've enjoyed a few of the others. I think one of the ones that I recently completed a while back, more recently but not too long ago, was Final Fantasy V. That game, incredible. Highly recommend. The Final Fantasy series has stuck with me since then, and I just play them here and there. I'm really looking forward to 16. FF16 is looking to be really fun. Moving forward, any Mario game is essentially a good Mario game. I tend to stick with the mainstay ones rather than the side story ones, but I do have a few side story Mario games that I absolutely love, like Super Mario RPG. The Wario series is also a favorite of mine. Now, for some more unique games that I love, Demon's Crest for the SNES, the sequel to Demon's Quest, or Gargoyle's Quest? I think it's Gargoyle's Quest, for the NES. The Super Nintendo game, Demon's Crest, it hit me at a young age, and I just found it fascinating. Going through these worlds, collecting power ups, and just trying to regain your former power. It was very almost Mega Man esque as far as the game's concerned, but the objectives and the antagonists were far more, I'm going to use this word wrong, ambiguous? I think that means to be unclear. Moving on, like, not to date myself again, but I grew up with Earthbound. I was there for the release, and I love that game. Do I fanboy over it? Not really, but I've played through it a few times, and it's just a good play. Breath of Fire has been a really wonderful game in my life. I started with the very first one. I thought it was awesome that Square Enix, or Square at the time, had collaborated with Capcom and created an RPG. Knowing that the company that made one of my favorite games got together with another company that made the game I really loved and made this new, just experimental game, it excited me. Playing through it as a kid was an incredible experience. Love that series. I don't really have a favorite. They're all good in my eyes. However, I've never beaten the second one. Or the sixth one, but everyone knows about the sixth game being some kind of phone game thing. So the chances of that ever happening, probably not. And that's about it for my introduction. Hope you guys enjoyed learning a bit more about me. Going forward with my channel, you will expect to see stuff like these fall into the video as I do. Sometimes you might see me do a repair to a console, sometimes I might play a game, and on the rare occasion, I might open up a Pokemon card pack for fun. I guess that's about it. It's been wonderful spending time with you guys. And I guess I'll see you next time. I will be streaming later. I want to start getting into the Legacy collection for Battle Network, as I plan on burning through as many of them as possible. While I play it on Switch, I won't be 100%ing it. On the PS4, I'm going to be grinding out all the achievements in both collections. And with that, my dear friends, I guess it's time to say goodnight. Or see you later, if I do go through with playing the Battle Network collection. I gotta be honest, my pillow's looking mighty comfy right now, and I might just take a nap. Thank you all for tuning in. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. And remember to stay fluffy. Take care then. Bye bye now.